Once again, this is Dr. Phil Fernandes, the president of the Institute of Biblical Defense, pastor of Trinity Bible Fellowship. I'm the professor of apologetics and religion at Veritas International University. I'm also the director of the Doctor of Ministry program there, and I highly recommend the school. I also teach apologetics for Shepherd's Bible College, and I teach at a Christian high school, Cross Point Academy, so I keep kind of busy. But we're continuing our series right now on the Phil Fernandes Show. Please subscribe to our show. We need subscribers. But we're continuing our series on Old Testament prophecies fulfilled by Jesus, and this is part 3. Old Testament prophecies fulfilled by Jesus, part 3. Prophecies written hundreds of years before Jesus of Nazareth walked the earth that were fulfilled by Jesus. And we saw in the last couple weeks that he'd be a descendant of Abraham, Judah, Jesse, and David, be born of a virgin, born in Bethlehem, his birth announced by a star, his forerunner, John the Baptist, the specific time of his first coming, he'd be executed before 70 A.D., perform miracles, teach in parables, be rejected by the Jews, receive a wide Gentile following. He'd be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver and forsaken by his disciples. We're also told in Zechariah 9:9 that the Messiah, whoever he is, will enter Jerusalem on a donkey and will receive a king's welcome. And Jesus fulfilled that. That Jesus would be silent before his accusers. Isaiah 53:7. Jesus only spoke for the benefit of his accusers. He never spoke on his defense. He was silent in respect to his defense. He'd be crucified. Psalm 22, King David, Psalm 22, verse 16, says that they've pierced my hands and my feet. And this was before they even invented crucifixion. This was like about 1000 BC, about 1,000 years before Jesus walked the earth. And yet they would pierce my hands and my feet. Jesus be crucified. That soldiers would cast lots for his garments. Psalm 22:18. They pierced my hands and my feet, and then their soldiers, people would cast lots for Jesus' garments. Jesus' bones would not be broken. Psalm 34:20. God would not allow his holy ones, his bones to be broken. But also Exodus chapter 12, that the Passover lamb, to be the Passover lamb. Paul in 1 Corinthians 5:7 says Jesus is our Passover lamb, and he's been sacrificed. To be the Passover lamb could have no broken bones. And that's why the soldiers didn't break Jesus' bones when he was on the cross. They didn't know, but had his bones been broken, he would be disqualified from being the Passover lamb. So his bones were not broken. His side was pierced, Zechariah 12:10. He'd be buried in a rich man's tomb. He'd somehow be associated with the rich man, but also with criminals at his death, according to Isaiah 53. Just look at Isaiah 53:9. Well, he was buried in a rich man's tomb, yet he was crucified with criminals. And then his resurrection from the dead, Psalm 16, verse 10, that God would not allow his Holy One's body to see decay. And when you see Lazarus in chapter 11 of the Gospel of John, his body was already rotting and starting to stink because it was the 4th day. So in that part of the world, it takes 4 days before your body starts to decay. And yet Psalm said that God would not allow his Holy One's body to see decay. He'd have to be raised from the dead before the end of the 3rd day. And so his resurrection from the dead, his ascension to heaven, Psalm 68, verse 18, and his position at the Father's right hand, Psalm 110, verse 1. Now, if you just took 8 of these prophecies, the chance of one guy fulfilling just 8 of these prophecies would be somewhere in the order of 1 to 10 with 45 zeros after it. We don't have a name for that number. So Jesus of Nazareth is the one. Now, again, I want to reemphasize what I emphasized last week, and that is this. That whoever the Jewish Messiah is, he has to be executed before the temple is destroyed. That's 70 A.D. And he has to, though being rejected by the Jews, he receives a wide Gentile following. There's only one guy who claimed to be the Jewish Messiah, was executed in 70 A.D. and received a wide Gentile following, and his name is Jesus. That's Jesus of Nazareth. He alone fulfills the Old Testament prophecies. This is supernatural predictions This is evidence that Jesus is the Jewish Messiah and the Savior of mankind. Thank you, and God bless.